Okay, we're back with another Capture One tutorial, and this time round I'm going to be looking at how do you create a color mask. If you're new to the channel, my name's Emil. This is my channel, which is an extension of Nature's Light and essentially an extension of the teaching that myself and a couple of other photographers do on Nature's Light photographic workshops and tours. Now, the image I'm going to be looking at today is photographed in Lesotho's Setlabatebe National Park. It's right on the edge of the Drakensberg and is host to some exquisite rock features. This image here that I'm looking at on my screen on Capture One is a panoramic stitch that I photographed using the techniques that you can see in this corner in the top right hand corner of the YouTube screen. Okay, but let's dive straight into how we actually use color masking in Capture One. To just very, very briefly go over this image, I'm going to hit my annotations. You can see that I essentially need to brighten up my sky. I want to lift some of the foreground brightness over here, including these rocks in the background. And very importantly, I want to lift these grasses and make them so that they are slightly brighter and more three-dimensional in relation to the image, because at the moment this standard DNG file is looking a little bit drab. What we're going to do to start off with the image, I'm just very quickly going to do a basic edit using my levels over here, bringing the brightness in a little bit with the exposure, adding some contrast to the image and opening up my shadows just a touch, not too much, and then also bringing back my highlights a little bit. Okay, so I've created my base image from which I'm going to start from. Now here's where the color selection tool becomes so important. I'm wanting to bring these grasses out so that they match the grasses on the right hand side, as well as bring some brightness into this particular face on the rock itself. What I'm going to do is head down to my color editor and stay inside the advanced tab, and the basic idea is we're going to take our color picker and select a color, not a tone. We're looking at color as opposed to tone now, and I'm going to actually select a color that is similar to these grasses, and I think it's probably going to be inside this rock face here. And the way to see that is we'll head down to view selected color range, and everything else except for what you've selected is going to go grayscale. So here you can see I've selected my reds in the rock. The reds in the rock here are also selected, and importantly, the grasses are selected. If I would like to expand that selection a little bit, I can go into my color wheel and I can spread the actual color range that is being affected. And you will see inside the image itself, anything that shows color is going to be accepted in that selection. Now, what's cool about this is if I zoom in to the image itself, you can see down here that it is selecting the grasses almost perfectly. It's featherless selections basically, which is really great. Now, here comes the important part. Rather than adjusting inside the sliders of the advanced color tab, we're going to head up to the menu over here and click on that and then say create masked layer from selection. This is then going to do its thing, and you will see a color range mask appear above your base image layer. Then importantly, make sure that you click on your image layer and then just unclick view selected color range, because otherwise every time you head back to your image layer, your base image layer, it's going to show grayscale. So we're going to go into our color range mask here, and then using my luma curve, I'm just going to brighten up, and you can see, there we go. This is now brightening up just my foreground and the grasses themselves. I think that it's bringing some nice brightness in there, but it still unfortunately needs some color. So I'll just head straight up to my saturation slider, bring back some of that color and potentially some of the warmth as well by going to my Kelvin slider and just pushing that to the right ever so slightly. And you can see your before and after. It's given fantastic depth to the foreground. However, we need to tweak that a little bit. This is my mask, so I'm going to hit my M button and you'll see everything that lights up red is going to be where my mask is. Now, I don't want the mask to affect the sky over here, and I would like to actually bring it back a little bit from some of the grass on the left-hand side of the image and in the background over here. So all I need to do is I'll start off with my AI eraser tool, and it'll select the entire sky if I actually hover over the sky itself. So now if I click on that and I go head back to my M button, you'll see the sky is gone. We're then going to move over to our standard eraser tool, and I'm going to use perhaps a flow and opacity of around 60, and then I'm just going to delete or at least paint out the areas where I think the effect is too strong. I'm just going to do one swipe across those rocks in the background and there, and then just a single swipe over here. And these rocks in the foreground as well were a little too strongly affected. Right, so we can now see our color range mask makes quite a big difference. I really like that. That's working quite nicely. From there on, I can continue with my other edits, and for this particular image, I would probably lighten up this side over here. I might bring out a little bit more detail in the sky with another mask, for instance, and my final image is going to end up looking like this. The important part of this tutorial, though, is how do you use the color masking, and it's really, really simple. Just to use another example, let's say I'm wanting to bring out some of the brightness and of the sky itself behind the clouds. Again, I can simply head down to my advanced color tab over here, and I'm going to take my color picker and I'll pick part of the sky. We'll switch on to the view selected color range. Anywhere where there's color is what's going to be affected. And the more you play with the selection tool, so I can actually bring it all the way down, and now we're starting to make most of those clouds go black and white as well. So now we're just selecting basically the blues inside there. If I wanted to then create a mask from that, I simply, in fact, to make life easier, I'll say switch off view selected color range now, so I don't have to go back to that. Create a mask, and hitting M, you'll see those are the blues that I've created or selected from. I could even further refine that if I wanted to by heading into my, while having my color range mask selected, head into luma range and then further adjust the area that I'm wanting to select. So I just want the brightest tones. So now we're basically just selecting those internal blues inside that image. Apply, and then if I want to change those colors, I can then fiddle with that area. And it's all perfectly, there you go, just adding some color inside there, and you can see there's your before and after, creating a bit of cloud sculpting in that particular photograph. Okay, so if you're having issues with your standard masks, your gradient tool, your radial tool, etc., etc., this is a fantastic way to be able to create a refined mask based on color and potentially refine it further using your eraser tool, a brush tool, or even your luma mask or luma range thereafter. Remember that if you're struggling to identify an area, you don't necessarily need to rely on luminosity. You can also use color. Hopefully that's a nice quick trick for you in using Capture One. Remember to pop a like and subscribe if you'd like to hear some more of these tips going forward. Your likes and subscribes are pretty much what keep the channel going. So thanks again for your support. Right, hopefully I'll see you again on the next one. Till then, cheers.